This is why I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this. I was living in New York City at the time and I matched with a guy who, for the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went. So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS and it's really weird because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention, my car is the only car in the parking lot. So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can, and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rear view mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me. I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are familiar with.
This is how my dad caught me and my boyfriend together in the bathroom. Of all places, the bathroom. If you watched my last couple of videos, then you know that I grew up with really strict parents. When I was in high school, I had this boyfriend and we dated from our sophomore year of high school to our senior year of high school. Obviously, we're no longer together and this is my ex-boyfriend that I'm talking about. Because my parents were so strict, they didn't want us to have any alone time ever, period. Like, we weren't allowed at his house, we weren't allowed to be over here. We always had to be out doing something and they always wanted someone to be with us, which was annoying. As teenagers, of course, we wanted more time together, and so that got to the point of us either sneaking him over when my parents weren't here for some alone time, or his mom would eventually lie to my parents and be like, yeah, we have a family event going on, just so that I could come over for a little bit, because even she saw how bad it was. On this day in particular, we were 16 years old, and it was 4th of July. Why do I remember it was 4th of July? Well, because 4th of July is one of my favorite holidays, and he was going to spend the day with our family. My mom had left to run an errand and my dad didn't live with us, so I was like, okay, we're safe if you want to come over. So he came over and he parked his car down the block because we had a mutual friend that lived on the same block as us and he would go over to his house sometime. So we were like, okay, on the off chance that my mom comes back, you can just go out the window, which he had done 2 times before, and run down to that friend's house and say that you were hanging out there. So he comes over and I am in the bathroom doing my makeup just like this, doing my hair, getting ready for the day. All we wanted to do was say hi before the day started, I guess. Like, we weren't up to anything bad, we just occasionally wanted a moment to ourselves. So he's sitting in the bathroom with me while I'm getting ready. I'm on like the last 2 steps of my makeup when lo and behold the front door bursts open and we're like, what is going on? My mom is not supposed to be home yet. Spoiler alert, it wasn't my mom, it was my dad. And so me being like, how the heck do I keep him out of the bathroom? I slam the door and I'm like, I'm taking a shower. I run over and I turn the shower on. Me and my ex-boyfriend stared at each other like this. Like, what the hell do we do? My dad was not a dumb man. I knew that there was like a 50-50 chance that he had seen my ex-boyfriend's car when he drove down the street because he was knocking on the door, asking me what I was doing. And I was like, I'm showering, I'm showering. If it wasn't obvious, there's not like a window in my bathroom where we could have snuck my ex-boyfriend out of. Like, we were fully trapped in the bathroom. There was no way that he could have gotten out. And so me being like, oh, I'm so smart, I'm like, I'm gonna call my mom and say that I'm having an allergic reaction and I need Zyrtec because I was having bad seasonal allergies at the time. I don't know why. So I call her and I'm like, hey, I need you to have my dad go to the store and get me Zyrtec. I'm having an allergic reaction. Like, he needs to go now. Please send him to Walmart because we have a Walmart that's literally like less than a mile away from our house. On the phone, she's like, okay, I'll send him. Little did I know they had already been communicating. So I finished talking to my mom, and then I text my dad the same thing. I'm like, I'm in the shower right now. I'm having such bad allergies. I can't breathe. Please go to the store and get me Zyrtec. Me and ex-boyfriend look at each other, and we wait like 2 minutes, and we're like, okay, obviously we need to see if the coast is clear, but we're not just going to burst out of the bathroom. We need to make it look realistic in case he is still sitting there, because our bathroom leads right out into our kitchen and our living room. So like, that's where my dad would be, and we couldn't get past if he was still there. So we were like, okay, we told my dad that I was in the shower. I need to make it look like I was in the shower in case I like pop my head out and he's still sitting there. He's gonna be like, why has the shower been on for like 10 minutes and you're fully dressed? You know what I mean? Like, he would just think that we were up to something bad. So I was in this big sleep shirt, and I pull the sleeves off of my shoulders and like tie them around my front, and I wrap my towel around myself. And our linen closet is right next to our bathroom. So I was like, okay, I devised this little plan. I'll just pop out, grab a face rag from our linen closet, and tell him that I forgot a face rag while I was in the shower, and that I'm like not washing my hair because my hair wasn't wet. So I do all this. I stick my head out of the bathroom door. I grab a rag. I look behind myself, and I see him, hands crossed, sitting at the kitchen table. He gets up. He runs towards me. I slam the bathroom door. He sticks his boot in front of it. I slam it anyway. I lock that thing. I'm like, get out. I'm showering. I'm naked. I wasn't, but I'm yelling that. At this point, I am leaned up against the bathroom door, using my body weight to keep it closed. Me and my ex-boyfriend look at each other. We're like, what the F are we gonna do? The shower is still running. And so I step away from the bathroom door, and I'm like, okay, we gotta figure this out. At this point, we are doing everything in our power to figure out a way where we could hide my ex-boyfriend. So I am like clearing stuff out of the bathroom cabinets and trying to make him squeeze in. It didn't work. He was way too big. We are trying to make him hide in the shower, but the shower is wet because it's been running for like the past 15 minutes. We're like, well, maybe you could just lay down in the bath and he wouldn't notice you. Obviously, he's gonna notice. Like, he knows something is up if he didn't leave and go get the allergy pills. We were terrified. We leave the shower running for probably 5 more minutes. We shut it off. I turn the blow dryer on. There's nothing to blow dry because I was never in the shower, but I'm holding it there as we're staring at each other, not even having a conversation, just in fear because we don't know what the heck to do. Finally, we shut the blow dryer off. We have, at this point, come to the conclusion that there is nothing we can do. There is no getting out of this. My dad is not going to leave. He has been waiting his whole entire life for this moment. And so we look at each other and we're like, should we just tell him? And he's like, yeah. And so the blow dryer comes off, and very, very gingerly, I say, I have to tell you something. And my dad goes, okay, come on out. My ex grabs his keys from where they were sitting on the bathroom counter, and we walk out looking more scared than we ever have before, in a single file line. We line up in front of my dad, and we try to explain to him that my ex-boyfriend literally only came over to say hi to me while I was doing my makeup, and we were not up to anything bad. He, of course, does not believe us. He launches into the talk and gives us this whole long lecture about it and how he and my mom don't want us spending any time alone together at 16 years old. We again assure him that we were not up to anything like that, because we weren't. Like, I swear, 6 years later, we weren't. But he insists that he heard my ex-boyfriend's belt scraping against the ground, like, assuming that his pants had been off. And the sound that he heard was literally him picking up his lanyard of keys off of the kitchen counter, and it made like, or the bathroom counter, and it made like a scraping sound. And he thought that it was his belt off the floor. And so he was convinced, this man was convinced. After that, my ex-boyfriend does the walk of shame back to his car. He's very sad, very dejected, very embarrassed. And so am I. And then my dad spends the next like 30 minutes gloating over me about how I wasn't smarter than him and how he knew that he was in there the whole time, which, like, to be fair, it was kind of obvious, but whatever. Safe to say, my ex-boyfriend did not spend that 4th of July with us. My dad and I went and did our plans that we were all going to do together by ourselves. I was also really lucky that that happened on 4th of July because it kind of distracted my family from everything that had happened, and we didn't bring it up again. Anyway, that's the story of how we got caught in the bathroom together. My parents don't believe my side of the story to this day, but it's okay. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.